Have you ever wondered why some people live to 100 with a sharp mind and a strong heart, while others age more quickly, even if they eat the same foods or live in the same town? It might not just be luck. The answer could be in your genes. Yes, your DNA, the invisible code you were born with, holds clues that may predict how well you age, and how long you might live. In today's Elderlyft episode, we'll walk you through 10 powerful genetic traits that researchers believe are linked to a longer, healthier life. But don't worry, we're keeping the science simple, warm, and easy to understand. Let's begin this journey of self-discovery together. 1. The longevity gene, your body's built-in protector. When Margaret turned 92, her doctor was amazed. No heart disease. No diabetes. No signs of dementia. Just a sparkle in her eye and a mind sharp as ever. She still walked her dog every morning and made tea for her neighbors in the afternoon. When asked her secret, she laughed and said, "Good genes, I guess. But science agrees, she might be right." Some people are born with a rare gift tucked quietly inside their DNA. It's something researchers call the longevity gene. This powerful gene works like an inner protector. It doesn't make you immortal, but it helps your body fight stress, repair damage, and stay balanced as the years pass. While others may struggle with inflammation, cell breakdown, or age-related disease, this gene steps in like a silent guardian, fixing, calming, rebuilding. Studies of centenarians, people who live past 100, often reveal this same gene doing its quiet work behind the scenes. Especially in parts of the world known for healthy aging, like Okinawa or certain regions of Italy, this gene shows up more often than chance would suggest. But here's the beautiful part. Even if you weren't born with it, your daily habits, what you eat, how you move, how you handle stress, can help switch it on. So when Margaret says it's good genes, she's not wrong. But maybe it's also the daily walks, the laughter with neighbors, the calm joy in her heart. Because this longevity gene is more than science. It's a reminder that our bodies were designed to heal, to protect, and, with care, to thrive far longer than we once believed possible. You may carry that same gene. And even if you don't, you can still live like you do. 2. Strong DNA repair, fixing what time tries to break. When we think of aging, we often imagine it as something that just happens, a slow decline over time. But deep inside your body, there's a quiet battle being fought every single day. Your cells are constantly under attack, from sunlight, pollution, stress, even from normal breathing. Every one of those forces can chip away at your DNA, the instruction manual that keeps your body running. But here's where it gets remarkable. Some people are born with genes that don't just notice this damage, they rush in to fix it. Think of your DNA like a priceless old book. Over time, pages fade, edges tear. But if you have a team of expert restorers on hand, your DNA repair genes, that book stays readable for decades longer than expected. This built-in repair system doesn't get much attention, but it plays a critical role in how gracefully you age. It patches up little mistakes before they become serious problems. And in people who live into their 90s and 100s, scientists have found these repair mechanisms working like clockwork, precise, efficient, and constantly on duty. People with this genetic advantage are less likely to develop diseases linked to cellular damage, like cancer or early-onset dementia. But even more importantly, they tend to feel younger, with better energy, clearer thinking, and stronger immunity. And just like with the longevity gene, these repair genes don't work alone. They respond to how you live. Regular sleep, gentle movement, nutrient-rich foods, all of it helps support the repair process. So the next time you take a walk or choose a colorful plate of vegetables, remember, you're not just helping your body. You're giving your cells the tools they need to rebuild from within. Aging may be natural, but how we age is something we can influence. 3. Low inflammation, quieting the fires within. Eleanor had always been active, but what stood out most wasn't how far she could walk, it was how little pain she seemed to carry. No sore joints. No stiffness getting out of bed. Even into her late 80s, she moved with ease, smiled often, and rarely needed a doctor's visit. Her secret? As it turns out, something quietly powerful was at work inside her: low inflammation. Inflammation isn't always a bad thing. When you get a cut or a cold, your body creates it to help heal. But when that process stays on all the time, even when there's no injury, it becomes harmful. That kind of silent, chronic inflammation is now linked to nearly every disease of aging: heart problems, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and more. But here's where genes come in. Some people are born with a special variation in their DNA that keeps this background inflammation low, like a thermostat set to just the right level. It's subtle, but powerful. It means their bodies don't overreact. Their immune systems stay calm. And their organs, joints, and brains are spared years of wear and tear. In people like Eleanor, these cooler genes help maintain balance. No raging storms inside. Just a gentle, steady rhythm that supports longevity. And just like DNA repair, low inflammation can be encouraged, even if you weren't born with this genetic advantage. Foods rich in omega-3s, daily movement, stress relief, even good sleep, all of these calm inflammation and support a healthier, more graceful aging process. The fire doesn't have to burn out of control. With the right choices, and maybe a little help from your DNA, you can keep the flame soft and steady, warming your life instead of consuming it. 4. Good cholesterol genes, a heart's best friend. Walter never paid much attention to his heart, until his doctor told him it was remarkable. At 87, the doctor said, "You've got arteries like a man decades younger. No signs of blockage. No history of heart attacks." His secret? It wasn't a strict diet or fancy supplements. It was something deeper, written quietly into his genes. Some people are born with a special variation in a gene called ApoE2, which naturally helps their bodies manage cholesterol. Not just any cholesterol, but the kind that can build up in arteries, restrict blood flow, and lead to heart attacks or strokes. These good cholesterol genes work like skilled maintenance workers, clearing out the bad LDL cholesterol and boosting the good HDL cholesterol that protects the heart and keeps blood vessels open and healthy. And the benefits go beyond the heart. Scientists have found that people with this gene also tend to have lower risks of memory loss and Alzheimer's. Why? Because healthy blood flow nourishes the brain too. Walter didn't know he had this gift, but he felt it. More energy. Clear thinking. A steady heartbeat that never gave him trouble. It was only later in life that the science caught up and gave a name to what he'd lived with all along. But even if you weren't born with the ApoE2 gene, you can still support your heart in similar ways. A diet rich in fiber, healthy fats like olive oil or nuts, regular movement, and calm emotional living. All of these help your body handle cholesterol wisely. Your heart doesn't ask for much, just a little care, a little kindness, and the right rhythm. And whether by genes or by choice, you have the power to keep it beating strong for years to come. 5. Blood sugar control, the quiet guardian of energy and age. When Clara turned 85, her granddaughter asked how she always seemed so steady. No sudden fatigue, no mood swings, no health scares. Clara just smiled and said, "I've always felt balanced." What she didn't know was that part of that balance was hidden in her genes, working quietly behind the scenes to keep her blood sugar in check. Every time we eat, our bodies break food into glucose, a form of sugar that fuels everything we do. But too much sugar in the blood, over time, can damage blood vessels, strain organs, and speed up aging. That's why diabetes, especially type 2, is one of the most dangerous age-related diseases. But here's the gift. Some people are born with genes that make their bodies naturally better at handling sugar. These genes help insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar, do its job more effectively. It means their cells absorb sugar efficiently, energy stays steady, and the damage caused by sugar spikes is reduced. Clara may never have thought about insulin or glucose, but her body understood. She had stable energy, a healthy weight, and no signs of the chronic inflammation or nerve damage that high blood sugar can cause. And just like the other traits we've explored, you don't have to be born with these genes to benefit. Walking after meals, eating fiber-rich foods, getting enough sleep, and managing stress, All of these support healthy blood sugar levels. Your body wants to stay in balance. And with just a few gentle habits, and maybe a little help from your DNA, you can protect your energy, your organs, and your peace of mind well into your later years. Because staying sweet on the inside starts with keeping your sugar in harmony. 6. Long telomeres, the tiny timekeepers of aging. James always looked younger than his age. At 90, his skin still had color, his eyes were bright, and his memory felt untouched by time. When people asked how he did it, he'd chuckle and say, "Maybe time just forgot me. But science has another idea. Time didn't forget James. His body simply knew how to slow it down." Deep inside each of us, at the ends of our chromosomes, are tiny caps called telomeres. Think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces. Their job is to protect your DNA every time a cell divides. And every time that happens, those tips get just a little shorter. But here's the twist. Some people are born with genes that help keep those telomeres long and strong for much longer than usual. And the longer your telomeres stay intact, the slower your body shows the signs of aging, from the strength of your immune system to the clarity of your thinking. In people like James, these genetic timekeepers are part of what helps them age with grace. Their cells can keep dividing without errors. Their bodies can keep repairing. Their youthfulness, in many ways, is written into the very ends of their DNA. But again, genes are just part of the story. Research shows that lifestyle choices, like reducing stress, eating antioxidant-rich foods, exercising gently, and fostering close relationships, can actually help preserve telomeres too. Aging doesn't have to mean a rapid unraveling. With the right habits, and maybe a little inherited help, those tiny threads at the end of your chromosomes can stay strong, and so can you. Because inside your cells, time is ticking. But how fast it moves? That's something you can influence. 7. Strong energy cells, the mitochondria that keep you going. Every morning at 6 a.m., Helen laces up her walking shoes and heads out for a brisk mile around the neighborhood. At 88, her neighbors often ask, "Where do you get the energy?" She usually smiles and says, "I've just always had a good motor." And in a way, she's right. That motor lives inside each of us, in tiny structures called mitochondria. These are the power plants of our cells, converting the food we eat and the oxygen we breathe into the energy that keeps our hearts beating, our muscles moving, and our brains thinking. Some people, like Helen, are born with stronger mitochondrial DNA, usually passed down from their mothers. These special genes make their energy systems more efficient, producing more power and less waste, even as the years pass. It's like having a car that runs smoothly no matter how many miles it's traveled. Strong mitochondria don't just mean more energy. They also protect against fatigue, muscle weakness, memory loss, and even certain age-related diseases. They keep everything inside us running like a well-tuned machine. But just like any engine, mitochondria need care to stay strong. That includes light physical activity, plenty of hydration, deep sleep, and nutrient-rich foods, especially those high in antioxidants. So if you've ever marveled at someone who seems full of life in their 80s or 90s, they may have been blessed with this mitochondrial edge. But even if you weren't born with it, you can support your body's energy centers in meaningful ways. Because aging doesn't mean slowing down, not when your cells still know how to shine. With the right fuel, the right pace, and the right mindset, you can keep that inner motor humming for years to come. 8. Calm under stress, the inner peace written in your DNA. Frank never raised his voice. Not during traffic jams, not during family disagreements, not even when life threw him curveballs. Worrying never fixed anything, he'd say with a shrug and a wink. At 91, his doctors were amazed: steady blood pressure, a strong heart, and a peaceful mind. But Frank's calm demeanor wasn't just a personality trait. It might have been something deeper, something woven into his very genes. Some people are born with a natural ability to stay steady in the face of stress. Their bodies don't overreact to pressure. Their hearts don't race at the first sign of trouble. And science is beginning to understand why. Genes like SIRT1 and COMT help regulate the brain's response to stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In people with certain versions of these genes, stress doesn't stick. Their bodies return to calm more quickly, reducing the long-term wear and tear on the heart, brain, and immune system. This inner peace protects more than just mental health. It helps prevent inflammation, supports better sleep, and reduces the risk of anxiety, depression, and memory loss over time. Frank didn't know the science. He just lived it. And while some of his serenity may have come from genetics, much of it came from how he chose to live: slow walks, deep breaths, good conversations, and letting go of what he couldn't control. Even if you weren't born with stress-calming genes, you can still build resilience. Gentle routines, mindfulness, connection with loved ones, and gratitude all train the nervous system to relax and recover faster. Because peace isn't just a feeling, it's also a form of protection. And in the quiet moments, your body remembers how to heal, how to breathe, and how to keep moving forward with grace. 9. Better at flushing out toxins. Your body's natural cleanup crew. Ruth spent most of her life in a busy city, breathing in traffic fumes, eating takeout on the go, and working long hours under fluorescent lights. Yet at 86, her doctor called her blood work exceptional. Her liver was healthy, her kidneys strong, and her skin still had that healthy glow. How? Ruth would joke, "Maybe I'm just hard to poison," but deep down, there was some truth in her words. Some people are born with genes that make their bodies more efficient at removing toxins, the invisible threats we all face every day. These toxins come from processed foods, air pollution, medications, even stress. Over time, they can build up and damage cells, organs, and even DNA. But in people like Ruth, special genes in families like GST and CYP act like a built-in cleanup crew. These genes help the liver break down chemicals faster, help the kidneys flush out waste more effectively, and support the body's natural detox systems. This genetic advantage helps reduce the risk of chronic illness, from cancer to liver disease, and keeps the body feeling lighter, clearer, and more energized over time. But even if you weren't born with these fast detox genes, you're not powerless. Drinking plenty of water, eating leafy greens, avoiding processed foods, and supporting liver health through gentle habits all help your body do its job better. Ruth didn't live a perfect life, but her body had her back. It knew how to clean house, even when the world got messy. And whether you have those genes or not, your body wants to protect you. With a little help, a little awareness, and a lot of kindness to yourself, you can keep your internal environment clean, strong, and ready to face each new day. 10. Longevity runs in families. The shared gift of a long life. When Emma turned 100, 4 generations gathered to celebrate her life. Her sister had lived to 98, their mother to 96, and now Emma stood, smiling and steady, surrounded by her children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren. Her story wasn't just hers, it was a legacy written in the bloodline. Science has long known that longevity often runs in families. Not because of one magic gene, but because of a combination, a symphony of inherited traits working together behind the scenes. Strong heart health, good memory, low inflammation, balanced blood sugar, resilient stress responses, all passed quietly from one generation to the next. If you have a parent or grandparent who lived into their 90s or beyond, chances are you carry some of those same protective genes. You may have inherited the same sturdy telomeres, the same efficient energy cells, or the same calm under stress. It's not just a coincidence, it's family. But just as powerful as your genes are your shared habits. Families who age well often pass down not just DNA, but daily routines. Meals made from scratch, regular walks, strong social bonds, and the unspoken belief that growing older is something to embrace, not fear. Even if you don't know your full family history, your life is still a story in progress. And the choices you make now, how you move, eat, connect, and care for yourself, may be the start of a new legacy. Because longevity isn't just a personal blessing. It's a gift that touches everyone around you, a ripple that reaches across generations, and who knows? One day, someone might look back at you and say, "That's where it all began." So what does all this mean for you? You may not be able to see your genes, but you live with them every single day. And whether you were born with the longevity blueprint or not, there's always hope. Always room for improvement. And always a reason to care for yourself, mind, body, and soul. Because living longer isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. And here at Elderlyft, we'll be right beside you, every step of the way. If this video inspired you or reminded you of someone special in your family, leave a comment below and let us know what traits run in your family. Like this video, subscribe to Elderlyft, and let's age with wisdom, together.